lot as a kid. Can he dance?
Yeah, he can dance. I mean, he's from Dallas. I mean, a lot of those guys out there can really dance. So, yeah, he can dance a little bit.
Something in the water in Dallas?
It has to be. I think it's just the rhythm, like the way they grew up out there.
I want to ask you about a different wide receiver, John Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about this catch ratio contest the receivers have. What's that about?
So, like, I mean, we used to do it every year, but it's basically like how many catches you have, like, versus how many drops. So you could have, just put out like 79 catches and 5 drops, rather than someone who has 10 catches and 3 drops. Well, that 79 and 5 will probably, average out percent-wise better than the 10 and 3. So it's just things like that. So last year he went perfect. So, I mean, unless somebody else went perfect, then you weren't going to beat him. And I think he's only dropped 1 or 2 balls this year. I think it's maybe 1. So, I mean, he's very sure-handed.
Is that a point of pride among the wide receivers? Is that catch ratio?
Yeah, just because, I mean, you win. I mean, you win, and then at the end, like, you just win. Like, basically, you got the title, you got the respect and all that stuff. And, I mean, a lot comes with that, too. I mean, it actually has something to do with, Dunn when he's calling up plays and stuff like that. Like, hey, like, can they handle the situation? Have they proven it before and stuff like that? And, like, he's proven it time in and time out. So he's very dependable.
Is there a prize for the leading catch ratio guy at the end of the season?
Nah, there's not really a prize. It's kind of just more like a, bragging rights.
Hand on your heart, did the ball hit you?
Nah, it did not hit me. I promise. I'll go to the grave with that one. It didn't touch me.
How do coaches respond to that over the week then when you know it didn't hit you?
I mean, it's just one of the things. It was not a great punt. I mean, it was windy, but the ball had no rotation. It was kind of just flowing in and out. And I ran up to the ball, and I wasn't really confident with catching it, so I'd rather get away from it than try and go up and catch it and then muff it. Like, actually muff it. So I just made that decision too late, so next time I just had to make the decision early and stuff like that. But they weren't tripping too much off of it.
It looks to me like guys on cover units are taking more chances. It looks like I know there's supposed to be a yard space. Mm-hmm. It looks like they can smell what you had for breakfast and pregame meal.
Yeah, they're getting really close. So, I mean, I just got to do a good job of, like, I mean, if they get that close to me, then, I mean, I have right to the ball or whatever. So if they want to get that close, I can step over an extra yard.
Bump into them.
Yeah. Or, I mean, if I really want to be savvy with it, back up an extra yard so they come a little closer and let the ball hit them. So I really have to be smart. But, I mean, in game and stuff like that, I mean, you don't really want to test your limits too much. Now if they start getting too close, talk to the refs, stuff like that.
Overall in special teams, because this is Kansas State, they have a pretty good special teams tradition like this school. You go into a game like this feeling that's probably an area of the game that'll be magnified?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, they were a disciplined and tough team just like us, too. And they're very sound in what they do, especially on special teams. Because, I mean, people don't realize special teams is like where the hidden yards and all that stuff is found. And that can really be a dictator with the game, with the end result of the game. So I think going in, we have to, have our thinking caps on, and we just got to go out there and, like, play hard.
You guys have had a lot of games like this where a lot of guys contribute. I mean, how much fun is it in the room when so many guys can say, hey, man, I did this, I did that. I mean, everybody had a hand in this one.
It's very fun because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I mean, we're all friends and stuff like that. So just to, walk in there and see everybody happy for each other, that they're making plays and getting in there, I mean, it's what you want at the end of the day.
I think you knew Stephon's talented, but did you know he's going to be this good this quick?
Oh, yeah. I mean, his confidence is through the roof. And I think that's the biggest thing as a freshman. Most freshmen, I mean, of course you're confident in high school and stuff, but I think coming to a new scenery and all that stuff, I think most freshmen wouldn't be able to grasp the stage and stuff like he did, but his confidence is through the roof, and, like, it's never wavered since he's been here, and he knows who he is. So I think that's the biggest thing that, is propelled him into this spotlight right now, and I think he's going to carry him all the way through college.
So you weren't all surprised on Saturday when he was catching all those hard passes?
Nah, I think the pass, I think he caught a slant, and I think him and the DB met the ball like in the air, and he just grabbed it. That was the one where I was like, ooh, that's a catch. But I mean, everything else, like the ends that he caught, the over the shoulders on the one on the sideline, those stuff, it doesn't surprise me. I see that all the time.
Was he like that when he got here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like that. I mean, of course, it takes time to get used to the people and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, his confidence and everything has never changed.
not being the biggest guy yourself, do you think what Deuce Vaughn has been able to do in his career you think that's pretty cool?
I think that's very impressive because I mean he gives helps people like my brother who may say, oh, you're too small to do this, too small to do that. I think the last time we played him, I actually talked to him and I was like, thank you for paving the way for guys who are necessarily like smaller than most and stuff like that. So I mean it's just a really good thing to see somebody out there do it, to give example to most people and the naysayers and doubters that, like, you know, people can do it too.
Speaking of your brother, he's getting a little bit more now. You always said you're going to let him make his mistakes and then kind of coach him up after that. What have you seen from him so far?
I can see that he's growing. I mean, he's not dwelling too much on mistakes. I mean, the ball that he dropped, I mean, if that was me my freshman year, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I dropped it, could have had this. But he came off the sideline, he was good, like he's cool and stuff like that. So, you know, he never wavers with his confidence either. And I think that's the good thing about this freshman group. Their confidence is through the roof. It's not arrogance, it's not cockiness, but it's just confidence that they trust in themselves enough to know what they can do. So I think that's the biggest thing that's helped him make mistakes, but be able to still keep ascending this far.
Appreciate it.